You see why? Because I read to be alive. Reading is my life, and writing is my life. When I started writing, there was no hope for publication. My first story, my first short collection story, when I published after revolution, the first year of revolution, immediately burned and banned. And after that, I told myself, okay, write for yourself without any hope for publication. And not only me, many writers in Iran write without any hope.
It's the thing that I have the most fun doing. It's always, there are writers, and I completely understand how this can work, but there are writers who like having written more than they like writing, and I actually like writing even more than I like having written.
I don't write for a specific reader, but what I do actually is that I try to talk to people through my poetry in a way that I know that in 2014, for example, or 2000 or 2013, people have become more similar in their ways of living, in their ways of exploring life. We have more or less similar tools or means or manners. I try to write sometimes, you know, about being like in a way that can be common to other people, because I believe in these common languages between people, like art and music and poetry. These are things that can be loved by everybody.
Yes. I had to ask myself, I had to stop at various points in my career and ask myself that question, because the way I got started, I got introduced to poetry by getting up on stage and doing it. So it was very much a concentration on winning over listeners and changing their minds about whatever you wanted to change their minds about in that 3 minutes. And so when I started focusing more on publishing and getting the word out that way, I said, okay, that's another brand of audience, and if I didn't have that. And I realized that I write a lot for myself. It's the way I process my life. When something happens and I'm angry or I'm sad or something's not making sense, I'm confounded by something, I always go straight to the page. And I realize there's a lot of those poems that no one else ever sees. And I can go back and read them, remember exactly where I was at that point, and they help me. They help me move along. So I think I'm writing more to make sense of my own life, and because those are the same stories that everyone has to access, that's what makes the poetry accessible for other people. But I write it first sort of to root myself in the world, so I think I would have to keep writing if there were no audiences or readers at all.
Yeah, with the children. In the desert, the children use pieces of wire, or maybe a stick, but wire's good, and it makes a good noise on the sand. And our pages are cleared where we sit. And then the children, they're marking the earth every time they're telling the little story. And these are wonderful books that are ephemeral, and they live in our hearts and they live in our eyesight. They don't live in the typical book, in the physical book. And they're very important books. And so if there was no publishing world, we would still be sitting out there with the children.
We write to be read. We don't write to stick things in the drawer and pretend we don't want anybody to read them. So the reader is an intrinsic part of the writing process. There can't be writing without it. It would be incomplete. So when I'm writing, the reader is there with me, so to speak. It is a communication process. I'm writing to you. I'm not writing to write. I want to tell you something as a reader. So no.
I will feel happy. I don't know why, but it would be like a release, like a being released of an urgency. Of course, I would be sad. Maybe it would not be. It would be the saddest scenario possible. But I would like to answer you. I would be happy because at some moment, I have felt the pressure of being a blogger or publishing columns or fictionalizing columns in my blog. I have felt the urgency of now you are in New York, you have to write about New York. Now you are in Havana and you have to write about Havana. And somehow the idea of not having readers, it gives you some freedom to be less productive, to be a writer that needs not to put forward what he's writing. Maybe I can write without the gesture of putting down the words. I can write in my mind. Like I can make pictures without the camera. I saw this, I really saw this.